a lot of people are very concerned with regard to South Africa, and that's really the purpose of the meeting, and we'll see how that turns out. But we have many people that feel they're being persecuted.
So Trump immediately frames the meeting with urgency. When he says many feel they're being prosecuted, he's not just making a diplomatic statement. He's signaling that there's a real humanitarian crisis. And let's be honest, if the situation were reversed, if these were black farmers being targeted, it would be international news nonstop.
And they're coming to the United States. So we take from many locations if we feel there's persecution or genocide going on. And we had a lot of people. I must tell you, Mr. President, we have had a tremendous number of people, especially since they've seen this. Generally, they're white farmers, and they're fleeing South Africa, and it's a very sad thing to see.
Notice how Trump says, generally they're white farmers. That's not race baiting, that's fact. These families are seeing their livelihoods and lives threatened, and all he's doing is asking for transparency. This isn't a trade meeting, it's a cry for human rights.
But I hope we can have an explanation of that, because I know you don't want that. It's a kind of a different meeting. Normally we have meetings, we talk about trade, and we'll be talking about trade and other things. But that certainly will be a subject that comes up. Yeah.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on around a quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me.
Now the South African president deflects. He says they wouldn't be here if there was genocide. That's like saying refugees don't exist because some escaped. It's a dodge, it's not denial. And when he says Trump should just listen quietly, it reeks of political gaslighting.
So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective.
Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South Africa occupy.
This part is chilling. A radical brags about land occupation with zero regret for law or ownership. We don't need permission. That's not democracy. That's mob rule. And this rhetoric is being tolerated under South Africa's constitution. Sounds more like intimidation than policy to me.
Occupy land. That's who we are.
This is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. People are fleeing South Africa for their own safety. Their land is being confiscated, and in many cases, and that scene of, you see how many crosses they have. Those crosses, there's a person in every one of them. And those trucks or cars are paying their respects to all of those people on a Sunday morning. That's a rough. Now
we see the visual proof. 1,000 crosses, 1,000 lives. Families gathering every Sunday to mourn somebody who's been taken away from them. This isn't a political theory, it's reality. If this happens in any other country, CNN would have 24-hour coverage of it.
Rough thing to explain away. And the problem we have, and the way, a correct and a fair media exposes things. But we have a very corrupt media, they won't even report this. If this were the other way around, it would be the biggest story. Now, I will say apartheid, terrible. That was the biggest story. That was reported all the time. This is sort of the opposite of apartheid. What's happening now is never reported. Nobody knows about it. All we know is we're being inundated with people, with white farmers from South Africa, and it's a big...
Trump hits on something huge here. Media silence. This is just unacceptable. This isn't about revenge. It's about justice. And the media's refusal to cover it is just shameful.
Big problem. Marco Rubio was telling me he's never seen anything like it. The numbers of people that want to leave South Africa because they feel they're going to be...
Let me clarify that.
Yeah,
Let me
please.
clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying.
So here the president of South Africa tries to explain it away as a small minority party talk. But their voices are growing louder. And when the result is land theft and government silence, it's complacency. These aren't fringe ideas. They're becoming normalized.
Even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can
and then
take
when
land.
they take the land, they the white farmer. And when they white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is quite...
Nothing happens to
There
them.
is criminality in our country. People who do get, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now
The
been
farmers are
utilized...
black. The farmers are not black.
We-
I don't
now-
say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed.
This is where the real clash happens. Trump says, plain and simple, that when white farmers are being harassed, nothing happens. And he's not wrong. These were politically favored victims where it would be general outrage if these were politically favored victims. But instead, they're white, so it's ignored.
Talk about it, and I didn't
we
know
will
we'd get
talk about it.
involved here, but I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake like NBC, which is fake news totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it. But the fake news in this country doesn't...
And here's the real enemy, fake news. Trump calls it out by name. If this were any other group, the media would be all over it. But ABC, NBC, CBS, all silent. That's why platforms like this exist, to speak the truth when the mainstream won't. And that's going to do it for today's video. Please like and subscribe, and check out the end screen if you want to see more. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.